Single parenting isn't easy. We understand. Most parents don't plan to go it alone, but you can still make the most of this journey for your children and yourself. In fact, if you and your family are on that journey, this podcast is for you. Welcome to the Single Parent Advocate community and to our podcast. And here are your hosts, single parent founder Stacy Poitras, and broadcast journalist, single dad and friend, Daryl Moody.
Hello to you, wherever you are. Thank you once again for joining us. This is the Single Parent Advocate Podcast. I am the aforementioned Daryl Moody, joining you from my home studios in Orlando, Florida. Stacy, you are there in Dallas, the Venture X, Louisville, the Realm at Castle Hills. And we didn't really plan this, but you and I matched today. So how cool is that?
Matchy, matchy.
So the weather is a little bit cooler out there, and the holidays are now upon us, and that is the subject for today's show, is the holidays, how to navigate them, how to handle them as a single parent. Obviously, there are a plethora of challenges that come along with being a single parent around the holidays. But before we get into that, Stacy, you guys had a huge event for Thanksgiving where you helped a lot of families who need it. Talk to us about that.
Oh, yeah. So we had about 100 families come through our specific Thanksgiving outreach where we provided these cool home for the holidays boxes. And in partnership with Huffines and Gab Wireless and many other nonprofits, we gathered at an area mall. It's called Music City Mall. And we handed out thousands of turkeys and food items. People were allowed to get their flu vaccines, or if they needed a COVID vaccine and had opted into that, that was available to them. Scads of diapers and lots of goodwill going on. I brought some party favors for you. Check it out.
That is holiday festive. I like it.
Yeah, jingle bells. Oh, here you go. So we are, providing food and all kinds of things to families, of course, for Thanksgiving, not ignoring Thanksgiving, not skipping Thanksgiving, but also really trying to help families have a nice environment between Thanksgiving and Christmas at home. So we put things like ornament crafts in the boxes. Everybody got a fun hat. Parents got a Santa scarf. Lots of different things in their boxes. I'm not going to spoil it all, but so we will meet together with families in person. We'll have a Christmas parade live with Santa in mid-December, right before Christmas, to provide as many gifts and things that we can support families at Christmas with, of course. And then huge thanks to Chief Rhyme at the Highland Village Police Department. He's going to come and really support us there, and so many others. So we're super excited. So Thanksgiving and Christmas for us kind of go together. We have an area charity we're going to be talking with, and maybe they're going to be providing some more food for us to give out, and Huffines Chevrolet of Louisville and other dealerships that they have really come in and sponsored us over the years, and they're going to be around again. And so it's really a good time for us. And we're, just ramping up, Daryl. It's, like I said, it's Christmas and Thanksgiving Central, and we're just so grateful and honored to be able to be in everybody's lives, and being able to lean in makes us all smile.
And if the folks want to see pictures of your elves at work and get an idea of just how big of an operation it was, go to Single Parent Advocate Facebook page, Twitter, Instagram, and you can see all of your helpers there. So like I said, the holidays presents all kinds of challenges for single parents, from time off for work to be with the kids to, being able to afford presents. And when you and I were talking about the show and what we were going to do this week, you brought up a blog post that you had written in the past with a number of really good tips for how to survive the holidays. So let's get into some of that. And one of these in particular, when we get toward the bottom of your list, created a challenge for me this year with my daughter's mother, as far as time sharing and that sort of thing. But let's get right into this blog post. There is some really good stuff here for folks.
Awesome. Yeah, no, when I wrote this article, I was thinking about, as I mentioned before in previous episodes, I always really had a lot of separation anxiety, and I have a heart for people who have to be separated from their children, especially during the holiday times. Or let's say you're new to being a single parent, right? And you're, alone with your children. And so there's so many different dynamics, right? Or let's say you've lost a loved one and they're your home. So I tried to make the article applicable to a lot of different perspectives, so that there would be something in it for everyone. It's a pretty simple article. But the first thing I talk about is don't be afraid of doing something new. There's a lot of new traditions that can be created when you're in a new normal. So if you find yourself in a new normal, whether you landed there willingly or not, it's a perfect time to take a look around you and go, okay, I'm going to let go of sorrow or let go of being stuck in the past and start looking at what fits me today. Is it going to be cooking with, something new, a new dish? Is it going to be reading a different, reading a different book, sharing a different kind of gathering? I don't know. Daryl, did you find yourself when you were kind of new to single parenting, did you do something new around the holidays?
Well, we did. As a matter of fact, my alma mater, the University of Central Florida, they have a holiday themed event every year called Light Up UCF. And they have an ice skating rink and they blow fake snow and all that kind of stuff. So my girls and I have gone for the last 3 years in a row. Unfortunately, last year it was canceled because of COVID. But that's become our holiday tradition as we go to Light Up UCF. And I haven't mustered up the bravery to attempt ice skating yet. But they've got a big Ferris wheel and they do a horse carriage ride and all kinds of stuff. And my kids love it. That's become one of our holiday traditions.
Well, what's been new to me is as a single parent who is now an empty nester, so to speak, is it's really new for my son not to be home, right? And so I'm, what can we do? And so we all talked about it. And so he's going to be coming in not on Christmas, but just before Christmas, and so I'm trying to roll with that and, be prepared to have Christmas a little bit early with him. And then maybe on Christmas Day, I'll do something new for myself, right? And so it'll be interesting, for me as well. So whether you're, having a new tradition, with older kids or with younger kids or those in the middle, embrace it. What is something you always wanted to do, as long as it's in reach and it's going to be pleasant, try it, right?
For sure. Another one of the tips that you have in this blog post is to focus on what the holidays truly mean to you and your family. And that follows right along with the next one, to avoid overspending and racking up debt. We've talked about this in the past, the need to compete with our other co-parent. And, it's really important. For me, I see I have a complicated relationship when it comes to the holidays, because I feel like my ex-wife really was just so into Christmas. And it was like a month worth of rituals and the cookie baking. And, it starts Thanksgiving night with the National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation movie. And, one of the things that always bothered me was the way the adults have their own Christmas on Christmas Eve, and then the kids get their Christmas Day. There's a Google Doc of a shared Christmas list that all the adults share. To me, I never participated in it. It just felt juvenile to me. But more importantly, it felt like it was too materialistic. So I really like what you say here about focusing on family and focusing on the real meaning of Christmas, whatever that is for you and your family, or the holidays, whatever that is, whether it's Hanukkah or Festivus for the rest of us, whatever you celebrate in your family. But to me, it's really important to spend time with family and to make it about that, rather than, oh my gosh, what do I buy for this person? What are they going to get for me? Or, oh, I got to make sure we get to the mall to get this. The whole hustle and bustle of buying the gifts and all that, it just creates anxiety for me.
Well, and I have to agree with you. And I, you don't want to be within 3 miles of my house whenever it's Christmas, because I loading the attic and getting all of the Christmas down and spread throughout the house. It's about, a week long process. I was just talking to a friend the other day about this giant flocked fake pre-lit Christmas tree that we have. And I cannot do it myself. It's way too big for me to handle. And I have to get help, and nobody, it's kind of like asking a friend to help you move. Nobody wants to show up for that, And so, I was thinking, okay, I have a nativity in my faith, nativity is important, or, I have a wreath, and maybe I could put a couple of centerpieces out, but, just try to make it more doable and pleasant for me, so that I'm not tapping all my neighbors and friends and wearing them out, and then also, trying to make it where it's about what Christmas. Well, for me, it's Christmas. So Christmas means something in my faith, and so I want to focus on that. So maybe, I simplify a little bit, and try to keep it manageable. There's a lot of times when we try to push ourselves to do so much. And then there's also that fact that we have a lot to do between work and Christmas programs and holiday programs and going to see things and friends and parties and gatherings of all kinds around the holidays. So I think it's really smart to kind of think, okay, how can I simplify, and still have, a warm and pleasant experience. And I don't think that everybody agrees on, the holiday times necessarily across how to do it or what's important. But what we do agree on is that it's important, and there is a spiritual element to it for all of us, and we just don't want to get so busy that we cut that out. Is really what I was trying to say. Make room for some private time with your spirituality.
Now, I will say this with respect to decorating. I'm a real Christmas tree guy. I like the real Christmas tree. I like that it's different every year. The experience of going and getting it is different. And, some year you have a Douglas fir, the next year you have a different kind of tree. Sometimes, I did one year, I made the mistake of buying it too late in the season, and I just got this scraggly, Charlie Brown looking Christmas tree, but the tree has character. And we always remember that year when we had the year we had the Christmas tree that we had to put in the corner so that you couldn't see the big bare spot in the middle of it. To me, I'm a real tree guy. I love the smell. I'm not so much worried about the fire danger that everybody talks about, especially with LED lights now and all that sort of thing. But I am definitely a real tree fan.
Well, and I was even thinking about that as opposed to bringing the fake tree down from the attic again. So we'll see. But no, yeah, and the smell, just making sure you keep enough water in the pan and all of that. Yeah, absolutely. And then, we talk about, focusing on, our budgets and making, so whether we're talking about time or finances or, all of the activities and what we're going to plug and play in, just trying to keep it pleasant so we don't be frantic. And embracing that, And the flip side of that, though, Daryl, and this really isn't in the blog, but, a lot of people are isolated and they kind of feel alone around the holidays, right? And so making sure that you do something that's going to feel good, that feels pleasant, right? That you don't let yourself just kind of go, okay, I'm going to skip it this year. Like, take some time and get together with, Friendsgiving and Christmas gatherings and holiday gatherings that are with groups of people who build you up, who really help you realize that you're important and you're not alone, right? I think.
Well, one of the biggest challenges for single parents when it comes to the holidays is time sharing. And who gets the kids on Christmas, who gets them on Thanksgiving, who gets them on New Year's. And this has actually come up just in the last few weeks in my house and my family as a challenge with my ex-wife, and that is the time sharing schedule. And so I'm going to read to you a paragraph from my settlement agreement that goes, or the
Oh,
parenting
are you
plan rather.
really?
Yeah, I am.
Listeners, do they really need to hear the whole paragraph?
Well, in order to explain this
All
situation,
right,
I need
all
to read it
right.
to everybody so that we all know what the words are, okay, and
Okay,
what's written in the agreement.
here
Okay.
we go, everybody. Hang
So
on.
so basically, this is what we do. We alternate the holidays. One year, one parent gets the kids for the entire week of Thanksgiving. The next year, they don't. I don't have them this year. I'm taking a cruise with my girlfriend. I'm excited about that, but that's neither here nor there. Now, as far as Christmas is concerned, the way we have decided to do it is we basically split up the entire winter break, and one parent takes the first half that includes Christmas. The other parent takes the second half that includes Christmas. However, when it came to mediation and getting, doing that process, I let some things go, and I missed some things in the mediation that I really probably should have fought for. But honestly, I went into that day, with her telling me, you cannot have the kids and I'm going to keep the house. So once I found out that she was not going to take the kids from me, and once I found out I got equal time sharing with the kids, and once I found out that she was not going to be able to take the house from me, there are some things that I let go. This is one that I really wish I had fought for. But anyway, so with respect to the parenting plan and the time sharing agreement over the holidays, this is what it says. Should the parties be in the same county on Christmas Day, the party that does not have the children shall have them from 1 p.m. until 9 a.m. the next day. If it's the father's turn to have the first half, and mother is entitled to have them Christmas Day as provided above, she shall keep them until 9 a.m. on December 28th. However, father shall be entitled to 3 days prior to the return of school as makeup time. Now, my ex-wife's birthday is on the 27th. And for her, she's a twin. So, Christmas is a week-long extravaganza in her house. So for her, having the kids on her birthday is almost as important to have them on Christmas. Now, when it's my ex-wife's turn to have the kids, we're never in the same county. She goes down to Sarasota County where her parents live. I'm in Orlando in Orange County. I don't chase her down there to take the kids from her. So this will be our third Christmas being divorced. And for 2 of these Christmases, I've gone without my kids on Christmas Day. And for you single parents who have gone without your kids on Christmas Day, you know how crappy that is. So 2 years ago, the first time that it happened, I told my ex-wife, I said, you need to understand from now on, when I have the kids for the first half of Christmas break, we will not be in the same county as you on Christmas Day, because I don't want to give my kids up, and I don't think I should have to, considering I don't take them from you on your Christmas. So leading up to the holidays, I had already kind of prepped my kids and told them, hey, we're going to go down to South Florida for much of the Christmas break, and we're going to do our own thing down there. And I saw in the time sharing calendar that my ex-wife and I share, she had indicated on that calendar that she was going to get them on Christmas Day, and I wouldn't get them back until the end of the winter break. So to try and prepare her, for what my plans were, I told my kids to tell her that we're going to go away for Christmas and we're going to be down in West Palm Beach for Christmas Day. So my oldest daughter told my ex-wife that, and she said, no, you'll be with me on Christmas and you'll be with me on my birthday. So this got back to me, and I texted my ex-wife very innocently and said, we need to figure out the holidays. Apparently there's been some confusion. I said, just so that you know, we're going to go away for Christmas and we'll be back that Monday so that you can have them for the second half of the break. And she said, no, you're not. They'll be with me on Christmas. So I took a screenshot of that paragraph from our parenting plan and I sent that to her. And she says, she interprets that as, it clearly states that the kids are going to come to me on Christmas. Where's the confusion? And I'm like, no, you don't understand. We're not going to be here. So she went back and forth, and she left it as, I'm going to call my attorney. And I said, have at it. Have your attorney explain that to you. And sure enough, she came back the next day and said, how about we do this? Why don't you give them back to me on that Sunday so that I can have them for my birthday and go down there? And I said, that's fine. I said, look, I'm not trying to I'm not trying to manipulate it and have the kids more than you. I'm not trying to cheat you out of time with the kids. I go, I don't care how we do it as long as it's fair. I said, I've had 2 Christmases alone and they suck and I don't want to do it again. It's your turn. So, and she was like, well, let's make a deal. Let's do this. And I'm like, no, we're not negotiating a deal. Like this is going to be fair, So this isn't a compromise. This isn't an olive branch. This is how it's going to be. And finally, she accepted that. And so what we've agreed to do is on Sunday, they'll go to her and then they'll spend the second half of the break with her. So what we did is we basically just added up the total number of overnights from when school ends on that Friday and when it starts again on Monday, the 2nd, I want to say. And so we've equally divided it in half. And that's exactly what your blog article says to do and to keep the other parent in mind. And, it was important to me to not have to fight with her about it, A, because I don't think I should have to fight for something that I'm legally entitled to. And second of all, the kids don't need to see us fight. They need to see us, agree on things, which we are doing right now. I mean, I'll admit, I'm in a better place with my ex-wife than I have ever been. And we get along fairly well so far. But this was something that we butted heads on. And thankfully, she had to call her attorney, and her attorney explained to her that, no, you can't actually do that. And it clearly states if you're in the same county. So anyway, long story short, we're at a basketball game a week or 2 later. My kids are both in the YMCA basketball league. And my youngest daughter says to me, she goes, Daddy, did you tell Mommy what we're going to do for Christmas? And I'm like, we've already worked it out. It's fine. We've already, hashed all that out. And so when she walked away, I made a point to lean over to my ex-wife and I said, hey, as far as that's concerned, I just want to let you know, I appreciate you being reasonable about this. I said, again, I'm not trying to cheat anybody out of time. I just want it to be fair. And she was like, well, when the kids were really little, to me, that was more important because she didn't think I was going to give the kids a real Christmas. That's a whole other can of worms. We're not going to get into that. But, she said, now that the kids are older, I don't think that, creating the perfect Christmas is as important as much as it is just being together. She said, so as long as I can have the kids on my birthday, I'm going to be fine with whatever we decide to do. Now, a couple of years from now, when her birthday's in the middle of the week and I don't really, and we're on a cruise or something, or we're, out of state, and, we'll have to deal with that. But to your point of what's in the article, I'm really proud of her and myself for working together on that and doing what's best for the kids.
Well, and I think too, just listening to all you went through to kind of come around to that really great compromise is, you don't want to put your kids in the middle, sending messages back and forth to each other, because that makes them a part of a conversation that is really probably unhealthy for them to be a part of, because you really want to bless the kids, during the holidays. You don't want them to be a part of the back and forth, if you can avoid it, right? And so many people, they talk with their kids about Christmas plans before they're solidified, and I can see how that would happen and be necessary. But I would just, congratulate you guys on, compromising, because sometimes the best gift you can give is being flexible, being, taking the higher road. That by itself is a gift, right? And the gift of time, the gift of understanding. There's another blog on the website, I think, Daryl, it talks about, a lot of the gifts that we can give during the holidays that are gold. And, I applaud you for that. Way to go. And you clearly had to go through a lot of specific things in order to get that to come together for all of you, and that's just really good. And I know everybody has moving parts. Everybody has, and every year's different. It's not like you can just say, okay, this is what it's going to be like, and then it just unfolds like that. Very rarely is it going to be the same next year. And certainly as our kids grow and mature, things change. Mine are all in their 20s. Or, well, Chris is in his 20s, as is my nephew. And so, the games we play at the Christmas table is poker and, fun, more adult games versus, Candyland and Chutes and Ladders and stuff like that, So I think you did great. And I think she did too, and I'm really glad you guys went. One thing that I want to point out that I really feel like you guys did well too is you went to counseling or, to the attorneys, even though it was, kind of, how are you interpreting this? How are you interpreting it? You didn't just go to war together. You said, no, I'm going to go check. Or she said, I'm going to go check. And you said, yes, please do that. And then that way, okay.
Well, to be perfectly honest, I remember asking my attorney 2 years ago and saying, so if I understand this correctly, if I want to have my kids all day Christmas, I got to go somewhere. He's like, that's what you should do. You should absolutely do that. So I just, and I tried to prepare for it 2 years ago and say, hey, look, when I've got the kids for Christmas, we're going to go away because we have to. But, thankfully,
and if that doesn't work in the future, those things can be amended, but way to go. And that's totally exactly what I was talking about. Even though it sounded a little tense, you got past the tense and into, okay, you get to go on a trip, have him for a while, and she gets to have him for the birthday. And, just like me, my son is going to be coming in early December instead of on Christmas Day. I have to think, okay, well, that's blessing. That's still a blessing, right? And I'm going to have my
it's a net positive. It ends as a net positive. Nobody's got their feelings hurt. Nobody's sore.
Exactly.
And it's all it's all positive.
Just try to chill a little, and go, okay, let's be flexible, and that is a gift. That is a holiday happiness present. Is how do we create win-wins in our families, for our kids, and, for everything. And then eventually, as co-parents, you can say to other people who may apply pressure about, where are the children? What about this? What about that? You have now made a decision together. And you said, this is what we have decided to do. We're moving forward with this. If there's another option or if we can come by at a different time, we'd love to. And we know that that's going to be, some, give and take on your part. And we really appreciate it, And
well, and, in last year, we did our Christmas on the 29th.
And it was everybody, sometimes has to move things around, but then you get back to that day, that special day, and your spiritual
and the date on
practice.
The calendar isn't that important.
Exactly. But that's where you plug in your spiritual practice. That's where you plug in time for yourself. That's where you plug in new things to do. So it all works together to where, okay, so you've got some time alone that, you've given the gift of compromise and understanding, and then you try something new. You do something for yourself. You spend time with your spiritual practice, and you don't get stuck in separation anxiety, stuck with, feeling alone. You find something new, you find some new friends, and you go and you make the most of it.
Well,
not necessarily shopping therapy, although shopping therapy is one of my most favorite things in the whole wide world.
And retail therapy isn't a problem for me. I don't worry about that. But one thing I do plan to do during the second half is to make time for myself, which is back to your blog article. That's one of the things that you say is really important to do. I'm a golfer. I like to play golf. So I definitely plan to play some golf during that time.
Absolutely. Whatever makes you feel like you had a great day, and give yourself the gift of what's it going to make me feel like if I do this or don't do that, and have a wonderful holiday. And that's your gift to yourself. And that's important too, I think. long as it's healthy and safe.
And this year I don't have to spend hundreds of dollars on fireworks, because last year I bought, a bunch of fireworks for New Year's Eve because that was my holiday. So that's gonna be a break.
And we mix it up. Every year is going to be a box of chocolates, and you just roll with what you get. And just the one thing that stays the same is a willingness to work with change, embrace a new normal, and make sure that you kind of look at the softer things about, the holiday, which is time with friends and family and your spiritual practice, and making sure that you're giving the gift of understanding and kindness.
Well, like I said, for me, one of the biggest challenges of the holidays is learning to do without your kids. And a lot of our listeners and viewers have the same exact challenge. And
it is so hard.
It's how, to your point, I'm proud of the way my ex-wife and I handled this. And I think it lays a solid foundation for future holidays where there won't even be any kind of debate. It's just, there's an understanding. We know how we're going to do it, and it's going to work out every year.
Well, and I've met several people who have had divorces, and they've gotten to the place in their families where they still share the holidays together. They've, gotten to a point to where their co-parenting situation has really healed. They've gotten into a groove, and so they'll still have the holidays all together. And so, that is a possibility, and it's a real positive thing, I believe. And, don't have to necessarily do the holidays separately if you feel like that'd be something that you're open to and would enjoy as a, co-parenting group. I know. I see that grin. I see the grin.
That feels so far off in the future for me. But, hopefully one day, hopefully one day we can share a Christmas dinner together.
Yeah.
I just need some more time to heal.
Yeah. And you know what? That's a gift she can give you. So,
well, and handling Christmas the way we did this year goes a long way toward that goal.
Toward
for
building
me,
that.
Anyway.
Exactly. You're building equity in making sure that your family is healthy and that you have good memories. Really, you want to build good memories together, especially this time of the year, and build good memories for yourself during your downtime. And don't forget that. You matter.
Well, I hope that you folks got a lot out of that. Stacy, is there anything else you want to follow up with, for this? I feel like we've put a good bow on it, pardon the pun.
Where's my bows? Well, these are ears. These are Christmas tree ears. But I think I just want to make sure everybody has a really great holiday. You're kind and understanding as much as possible, and work with each other to build happy memories. And we'll see you next show.
I think for my message, it's remember the reason for the season.
Oh, that's a good one, Daryl. See, I keep you around for a reason.
You're rubbing off on me, Stacy. That's what it is.
Well, hopefully everybody will have some input for us, and our next time we get together, we'll dig into some more of this stuff. So for now, everybody enjoy the season and be kind.
See you later, folks.